So in previous session, we understood what is the advantages to the process builder. If we use process builder, how nicely or how much minimization of Apex code we can do, and how we can define an optimized process with the visual layout. Okay, now let's see. Overall, when I say process builder, it's nothing but the next version of workflow rules, okay, which have almost all features of workflow rule except my outbound message. And additionally with that, we have post to chatter, we have to features of launching a flow from process. We can create records, related records, and we can update the records, and we can submit for approval, and we can invoke my Apex classes also. Now let's see, when I say this process builder, how this process builder looks like and what kind of thing we can do in process builder. Okay, parallelly I'll show in the Salesforce itself by logging in. We'll see how it looks like. Okay, now I am going to log into my Salesforce so that I will show you how I am going to open the process builder and what we can do in the process builder. So simply I'm just picking up my username and password. Okay, you can log into your sandbox production wherever you want. Let me log in it. Okay. So you can log into your sandbox or your production org, uh, like your developer org, where you want. You can check it. So once you logged into your org, then what you will do? If it is in the classic or lightning, both the places you can open the process builder, as I said. Simply, if you're in the classic, you can go. You can, or in the lightning, simply in the setup search, type process. Then if you are in the classic, under the workflow approval, you can see process builder, or if you are in lightning, under process automation, you can see process builder. You click it, both will open the same page for yourself. Okay, so it will open the process builder UI completely, which will looks like this completely. When you define a process, we will use some kind of nodes or some kind of decisions, and how this is going to happen, I will talk it in more detail. Okay, so now let's see what kind of thing we can do with this process builder UI. So when I say this process builder, nothing but it's an automation tool, and with this, what we're going to do, simply we are going to automate one of our business process. So when I say I'm going to do automate one of a business process, that means I have to create a process which will define what kind of actions I can do. So now, if to understand this one, so now if you see, whenever I want to automate this business process, what kind of thing we can do. So now you see, all the processes what you have, it will be listed out here simply. All the processes what is available for you, all will be listed out here. And same time, if you see this process, what is the process name. So if you have kept some description of the process, you can see here this process built on which object, and this process type, is this process going to be invoked when the record being changed, or this process will be invoked in some another process. So what is the process type here, then last modified and status, so your status and what are the actions you can take on this process, everything you can see here. So now this is nothing but all the processes, existing processes what you have here. And if you want to go back to your setup menu, simply you can click on this back to setup. And if you want any help, simply you can click on this help. It will give you the help page for the how you can manage the process. This is the standard help page. So now let's see, there is two things. If you want to see your existing process, then you can click on this arrow, then you can see different versions of the process. If there, you can see here each versions will come. Okay, so all the versions what are we have, which version is active, and when this version it got changed, everything you can see here. And if you want to open the process, simply you can click on this version. Okay, then my process will be opened here simply. Okay, same, this is nothing but the UI part. I'm just talking here. And once you are on this page, what kind of thing we have here. Okay, so now if you see this process, uh, let me go to my PPT. Okay, now you see this first part. Okay, in this part one, what kind of thing we have, it's nothing but you can see, uh, this is completely I can say simply my button bar. If you see this one what I have, this is completely, I can say, my button bar. Let me write it for you. So this is my button bar. What, like whatever the buttons I need for my process, it's there. So like you, once you define your process, so if you want to activate, we have a button called activate. You click it, the process will be activated. Like once you define your workflow, you click a button to activate the workflow. Same way, your processes can be activated by clicking on this button activate. Okay, so if once you activated, then you can see this button as deactivate. So once your process is activated, if you want to deactivate, then you can use this deactivate button, which will be available only once you activate the process. Then if you want to deactivate your process, you can click on the deactivate button here, like how activate we have, it will be deactivate. So you can click on deactivate button and you can deactivate your process. So then you can see there is one more button we have, which we call edit properties. So what these edit properties do for us? You will see this one. What is this edit properties? So now this edit properties, when you click or when you see, it will tell about your current process. For example, let me view all process. I'll come to here. Let's, I am on this dummy process. Okay. Now whenever I will click on my edit properties, it will show my process name, then what is the process API name, and what is the descriptions. Okay, process to see, we can click on this edit properties. Okay, then you see there is something called clone. So now I have developed one process to sending the email to my salespersons. Okay, so whenever they uh, close some opportunity with the a bigger amount, let's see, with a opportunity with 2 million amount, if my sales guy close it, then uh, we will send the email to all my sales team people. Okay, so that kind of automation we did today. So tomorrow, it may happen, I may update my logic. Okay, I may say, okay, not 2 million. Let's see if anybody do 1 million, then we will send one email notification to sales guy, and who closed my opportunity of amount greater than 1.5 million, we will give a bonus of this much percentage, and that process automation so we want to do. So now what the process I have created, on top of that I want to update something. So that moment we have to clone it. When you click on the clone, so you can clone as my current process another version, or you can create a new process. I will discuss this in complete detail, but whenever you want to change some uh, existing activated process, you can clone it and you can change it. Clone as a version or clone as a new process. Okay, so this is nothing but I'm cloning completely what process defined here as it is. Then I am going to modify it what we want. Okay, same way we have like another button which we call view all process. So once I'm on this page, if I want to view all process, once you click, then I'll go to the my process list page. I can see all the processes whatever I have. Okay, so same way what more we have, if you see, we have see expand all collapse all. So, okay, there is two buttons also we have. So what this button is going to do here, so now once you have many nodes defined, okay, let me go back to this process. Anyhow, this is a dummy process what I created to show you. So once we have all the processes, then you can understand how these processes are going to work. So if we add all the actions, if you want to expand all actions on these processes, then you can click on expand or all or collapse all. So now if I'm going to add multiple actions, so now I want to see all the actions here in the, without hiding anything, simply I can click on expand all, or I can collapse all the actions. For that purpose I can use these two buttons. Okay, so apart from that, if you see, there is one more thing which we call my process canvas. Okay, so I'm just making you the like familiar with this process builder UI. so you will be comfortable. So now the completely this part what you see, this center part, I can set this center part as my process canvas, where I am going to add different kind of nodes or different kind of actions what this process going to do for us. Okay, so in the process canvas, what we have to, so we like see whenever you define process, so now always you will get this start button. For example, whenever I created this dummy step as a process to show you, immediately my start came, correct? So now first thing we have to do, you have to define on which object you want to do this process. So that's nothing but your object to be added. So once you see, it defines which on which object this process is going to work. Okay, then you will see uh, like this decision boxes. It's nothing but we'll call as the criteria. So what kind of rules or what kind of conditions you want to add. So we can use this to define my uh, filter criteria of the conditions, or I can say we can define the criteria, and we can define our filter conditions. Like you can see here my conditions, if this condition satisfies, then I am going to do something. So that's nothing but, if you see this now, if my object is account, I am doing some changes on the account to record, and if that record satisfy this criteria what I am going to define here, then I will go and perform some actions. It's all about this. If my condition satisfy, then do some actions. So that conditions we will write on this decision box. Okay, so now you see there is two more things we have, which we call immediate action and my scheduled actions. Let's see, in add criteria I'm just going to uh, just no conditions. Okay, I'm just writing it so that I can show you next actions. Okay, now same way you see there is one more options we have, which we call immediate actions. So whatever the actions you want to execute right now, you can write here. Same way we have one more thing called schedule actions. So whatever the actions or activity you want to do after some time in the future, that we can define as a scheduled actions. So for one conditions, we can define multiple schedule actions too. So now, same way, if you want to add some actions, we can click on these add actions, and all the different kind of actions type here, which we'll talk in detail. We can add whatever we want. Okay, we can define. Same way, we can add a schedule actions. We can set on which time frame it's going to execute and what action going to execute. Then once this is done, then you see there is a stop. So now my process started for the object defined here, my condition satisfied, I'm executing this action, I'm executing this action, then my process stops. So if my condition not satisfy here, then what I want to do, I can check another condition. For example, if I crack a opportunity of 1.5 million, then I will get a bonus of 5%. If my opportunity I cracked of 1 million, then I'll get a bonus of 2%. Okay, that I can define like this, if else part. Same way, in completely flow builder you see only few components. One is nothing but on which object you want to start, your decision making here, nothing but your condition criteria. Then divide the action in two part as immediate action and your schedule actions. So in immediately what you want to execute, we have to define the actions, and in future what you want to execute, you define here. Okay, like this you can define your multiple block or multiple node. If this is one block or node, same way you can define another block or node. So how much you want, you can define that many block or nodes. So now to understand that what is happening here, so whenever I am going to use a process builder, I can open this UI, I can define uh, all the actions what's going to support, like what is workflow supporting, and additionally what other actions given by the Salesforce, In process builder, all those things we can define, and then you will create processes and we'll see what kind of actions or what kind of thing we can do in more detail. So overall, process nothing but initiates with a object with its condition criteria to execute actions immediately or as a scheduled. We will see in next session what kind of actions it's going to support and how we can create different processes. Thank you. Stay tuned for next session.